Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this subcommittee hearing on attendance procedure that has been applied for by Sheik. I'm Councillor John Andrews from Sherborne. I'd like to introduce my two fellow councillors who are on the subcommittee today.
Councillor Kate Weller from White Regis and Rodwell.
Good morning, my name's Councillor Emma Parker.
Thank you very much. I will now go through a list of, sorry, first of all, I must go through the agenda. So apologies, Clark.
Thank you. We have apologies from Councillors Cathy Legg, David Morgan and Susan Cocking. They have been substituted by Councillor Emma Parker and Councillor Kate Weller.
Thank you very much. My councillors got any declarations of interest? No?
No.
Sorry, forgot one vital thing. I'd like to elect a chairman for this meeting. Can I have a proposal, please?
I propose Councillor John this morning.
I second that.
Thank you. I'll get the buttons right in a minute. So, declaration of interest, we have none. Urgent items, any urgent items? No urgent items. So item 5 on the agenda is temporary events notice for Sheik Bar and Club. So the temporary events notice has been served on the council to extend the hours of Sheik Bar and Club in Weymouth for one period. The notice has been considered by the police and environmental protection. Both the police and environmental protection have served objection notices, and consequently, we have to hold a licensing subcommittee to consider the notice and objection notices at a public hearing. Right. So I will now ask everybody else to introduce themselves, and I'd like to start with the council officers and with the committee clerk.
Morning, I'm Elaine Tibble. I'm a Democratic Services Officer.
I'm Hayley Caves, also Democratic Services.
Thank you. The legal representative.
Good morning, I'm Lara Autry from Legal Services.
Thank you, Laura. The licensing team leader.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Aileen Powell. I'm presenting this report on behalf of Catherine Miller, who wrote it.
Thank you very much, Aileen. Now I'll ask the responsible authorities, starting with the police.
Good morning, Chair. Gareth Gosling. I'm a sergeant with Dorset Police.
Thank you, Gareth.
Good morning, Chair. Jane Williams, Team Leader, Environment Protection.
Thank you very much, Jane. And no, missed anybody out?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yes. No. Can I ask the applicant to introduce themselves, please?
My name is Parviz Panjalizadeh Marse, and I'm the applicant.
Thank you very much. All right. So I will just call everybody when it's their turn, and we'll make sure that everybody has the opportunity to ask questions of the person that was speaking. Okay, so the first person I'll ask to speak is the report author. Over to you, Aileen.
Thank you, Chair. I don't intend to say very much at all because it's all in the report. The only thing I would remind you is at this point in time, you cannot alter the 10 at all. It is as it is. You also could add conditions if you decided to allow it to go ahead, but those conditions can't be altered. They either have to go across as they are or they don't go across. You don't have to put all of them across if you didn't want to. You could select several to go across and leave some out. Those are your options after you've heard from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the report author?
Thank you. I believe the premises has had one temporary events notice already. Were there any concerns that came into licensing with regards to that temporary events notice? Yeah, I just want to know if there's anything that came into you directly. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. No, we didn't have any reported concerns on the last temporary event notice, but that did have all the conditions added on from the licence.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, no? No questions, right, thank you. So next one. Responsible authorities.
If you ask if any of them have got any questions for Aileen.
Anybody else got questions for Aileen? Ms. Barrow? With regards to the, no? No more questions? Right, so now I'll ask the applicant to outline their TENS application, please. Mr. Barrow.
Thank you. And now, I don't know where to start because I have a lot to say. Can I say everything? Or first of all, I really like to thank you all for coming down for this meeting because I wasn't really expecting this to come to this, really. I had an initial hint of guidance from different authorities to say that we can apply because New Year's Eve being a celebration for everyone, and that the police and the council could be a bit more relaxed with regard to extending the licensing hours. I think there has been I don't know if there's a confusion or the way we have filled in the application. The way I've specified on the application is that to carry on exactly the same conditions which are on the current application on the last 2 hours. Now, I am not going to be a responsible operator. I have put up with a lot of grief, a lot of expenses in the past year since the property was shut. And if I had known the economy was the way it was, I would have just left it. But I got myself into it, and it cost me the best part of £400,000 plus so far. As a result, I have to get my house remortgaged to keep going because I can't give it up at the moment. Now, we have not had any report of any incident to the police. I hope they confirm that. We have not had any issue regard to calling ambulance or any other issues. We've got a robust security company from Bournemouth, and obviously they don't know many friends and girlfriends or family in Weymouth. They won't let anyone in. There are 2 companies which I think Gareth is familiar with. One is called PPE, and the other one is called Maxim. They work in conjunction with each other, and they send their security to Weymouth every night when we open. Currently, we open up to 2 o'clock, but by 2 o'clock, everybody is gone because people want to go to late night clubs, so they don't stay after 1:30. Everybody's gone. And the last 10 we applied, we had no issue. The second one was refused, but we didn't have time to have the meeting. And the third one, I didn't apply purposely because I wanted to have 4 late night so that we can prove that we can manage. Now, I know we can manage because I've managed for 26 years and I'm sure I can manage again. The things which went wrong last time, there is 840 pages of evidence why it went wrong, which that alone cost me £45,000, and why it went wrong and how we are going to rectify it. And we are rectifying it. There is on Gareth Gosling's report that one area which he was concerned because we did communicate by email. And one area which I said some of the conditions was unreasonable. Now, if I could give you a couple of examples, and I'll leave you to think whether they are unreasonable, but I'm not going to change that now. I am planning at a later stage, maybe we could talk to the police and the council whether we could iron out some of these unreasonable conditions. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat as well. One of the conditions, everybody has to be checked, ID scanned, which I fully agree with that because the ID scanner has been a very useful tool. The other one is everybody has to be searched, including myself. Now, sometime when, say, 10:30, we run out of orange juices or something like that, I go to our local convenience store, I get a couple of cartons of orange juices and some lemons. On the way back in, my security has to check my bag. Now, that I find it humiliating and unreasonable because what am I going to bring in my own club when I'm coming back from shop, you know? Other issue which we had, a guy called Nigel who owns all the Charlie 4 radios in Weymouth. We rent the radios from him. He's also a taxi driver. And occasionally when he's quiet at night on his taxi run, he comes in club, any club, checks his radio, make sure the charger working, make sure the radio station is good, make sure the earpiece is working. He came to check the club, to his radio, and the security wouldn't let him in because he had no ID. He wasn't very happy. The following week, late on a Saturday night, the Charlie 4 radio wouldn't work. They couldn't hear from the radio. So I phoned Nigel the next day, and I said, you know, the radio is not working. He wasn't very happy. He said, I did come to check it. That is why I come to check the radio, the earpiece, the station. So as it happened the following day, poor chap, he brought a brand new one. Now that sort of circumstances to me is unreasonable because putting people's life in danger, our life in danger. They're not letting the guy who owns the radio not to allow in. There are other little similar things, but these are important. That's why my bag should be checked when I've gone to Tesco and come back with a couple of cartons of orange juices. That's the sort of thing what I meant was unreasonable, nothing else. Everything else is very strict, it's very hard to control, but we are controlling. And we are going to carry on to control the same as we are now if we are given the 10 application approved. Thank you.
If you'd like, yeah. Thank you very much. So have I got any questions for the applicant from councillors, please?
Not at the moment, I don't think. I've been said, but it's not relevant to this, so I've noted it and will bear it in mind, but not at the moment, thank you.
Obviously the conditions, but that's not relevant to...
Okay, thank you very much. Have the police any questions for the applicant?
No, none from ourselves and also none from Environmental Health.
Licensing officers, none either. So thank you very much for your statement. I appreciate that. I'd now ask the responsible authorities to say what they need to say. Start with the police, and then we'll go to Environmental Health. So police first.
Good morning. I don't have a great deal to say. I don't intend to particularly elaborate or repeat further on what's already been provided to you, other than to answer any questions that you may have in respect of the document that hopefully you've had an opportunity to review.
Thank you. Right, so the first question I have is the TENS that was issued for Halloween, I do believe. Were there any problems with the Chic Club?
No, the temporary event notice that took place for Halloween, given the fact that the conditions were applied, there were no issues or concerns, which is not a surprise to me, to be honest. Those conditions were determined following very lengthy conversation, which is, just as the member of the committee said, it's not relevant to the temporary event notice, but they were agreed between Dorset Council and the appellant in that case.
And am I right in saying that a temporary events notice for Halloween was till 4 o'clock in the morning as well?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any councillors, any questions for the police? Right, after I've stolen the questions, right, so applicant, have you got any questions for the police?
The same conditions will apply on the extension of the time which we are applying for. It's going to be even more strict because obviously New Year's Eve people are more drunk. They're probably, And the other issue of the reason the club was shut and that this is again irrelevant, but I think I'm just thanking the police for recommending the ID scanner because there was 4 cases which we found where people put their ID in the machine and the machine says on the bottom in small writing, this person has been dealing with Class A drug previous, and the machine flashes red. We also had people from Portsmouth come to Weymouth for a night out, and the machine flashed red. It said this person has been involved in GBH. And the guy said, I was fighting in Portsmouth 3 years ago, but our machine in Weymouth showed. So that is a very good, good piece of tools which we have.
Thank you very much. Environmental protection. Have you got any questions for Gareth Gosling first? No? Right. If you'd like to say a few words, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I too have put in the report my concerns and requested the addition of the noise premises licence conditions to enhance the continuation of the site when they're in operation.
Thank you. Any questions for... I'll let you get in first then.
It's the same question. Jane, did Environmental Protection have any concerns come in following the temporary events notice at Halloween?
No, none at all, Councillor.
I don't think there's any more questions. Has anybody got any questions for James? Gareth? No? No. Aileen? Applicant? Could you put your mic on?
About the noise control, we have had noise limiter fitted in the club, which was checked by the environmental noise control people, and those limiters are always in action, and it still will be.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll now ask everybody to sum up if they would, and I will go in reverse order. So anything from you, Jane?
Nothing additional from myself, thank you.
Gareth?
Yeah, just one thing in respect of something Mr. Marseille said about the conditions and agreeing to abide by them. I think the key for me in this one, hopefully it's come through on the report, is in respect of the last entry time. I think that really is important to make sure that the premises isn't used as that kind of final destination for people that might otherwise be more inclined to go home, having enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reiterating that because it is in the community of impact area or zone, whichever one you want to call it at the moment. So thanks for that. Aileen, anything? Oh, sorry, Mr. Marvel.
Yeah, the sum up, as I said, I do confirm that all the conditions will be applied. And as far as the re-entry and entry concerned, that will not be the last place people to go. There are other places that are open until 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock even on the New Year's Eve, which I know about. So 3:30 is not really the end of the night for them to come in. But we will, the other advantage, which I talking for my own advantage, is that it will be better to keep the people in safe in the club with security, and they could get out in drips and drops rather than kicking everybody out at 2 o'clock without current license. And they will go in the street. That is the time when they can't go anywhere else because all other clubs are either full or not letting people in. So, 3:30, 4 o'clock, I don't think is the latest. The latest will be 6 o'clock. Some people are still open. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Licensing officer.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to say that I'm very pleased to hear Mr Marseille saying that he's willing to have all the conditions attached to this licence, to this temporary event notice. I would just like to say that if you don't add them by way of a notice of conditions and put them all on there, it is only his word and we would not be able to enforce it. That's why this hearing is here. You can't alter that last entry condition. You either put it on or you leave it off. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's about it. Thank you very much for everybody for attending today. We've just coming up to the festive season, so I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And Mr. Parvo and your staff, please stay safe on New Year's Eve. Gareth and your guys and teams, please stay safe, as well as the environmental protection people who are out and about, I know. And Aileen, I know the licensing will be out and about on that evening as well. So please stay safe, and we'll look forward to seeing all of you in the new year for the right reasons rather than the wrong reasons. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you, everybody. We'll retire now, make our decision, and I will state that your decision will come pretty quickly, I would imagine. It's statutory within 5 days.
It is 5 working days.
5 working days.
Probably will go out by email.
Yeah.
But obviously there is a right to appeal, which you have 21 days to do to Weymouth Magistrates Court.
Yeah. Might have left it a bit late for appeal, but I don't know if they would get one in before 31st of December. But we'll cross that bridge if we need to. But thank you very much, everybody. We'll now retire and make a decision and send out a note.
I propose we go into exempt business to make our decision.
There we go. We're going to go to exempt business. So thank you very much, everybody. Like I say, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.